Donald Trump just gave a disastrous speech at the West Point U.S. Army graduation. Donald Trump left the audience stunned. First and foremost, Donald Trump seemed that he didn't even know how to get to the microphone, and he had to be escorted because he seemed like he didn't even know where he was. Watch what took place. Let's play it.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please remain standing for...
Then Donald Trump talks to the West Point Army graduates about a friend of his who had a trophy wife, and the audience is just absolutely stunned. Silence. What the hell is he talking about? Here, play this clip.
A trophy wife. It didn't work out too well, but that doesn't work out too well, I must tell you. A lot of trophy wives doesn't work out. But it made him happy for a little while at least. But he found a new wife. He sold his little boat and he got a big yacht. He had one of the biggest yachts anywhere in the world. He moved for a time to Monte Carlo and he led the good life. And time went by and he got bored. And 15 years later, the company that he sold to called him and they said, the housing business is not for us. You have to understand, when Bill Levitt was hot, when he had momentum, he'd go to the job sites every night. He'd pick up every loose nail. He'd pick up every scrap of wood. If there was a bolt or a screw laying on the ground, he'd pick it up and he'd use it the next day in putting together a house.
He was ranting about trophy wives and second wives and his billionaire friends. It got even weirder than that, folks. Donald Trump then used this speech to attack the transgender members of the Army and to try to sow division within the United States Army. And then talking about men playing women's sports. That was a major part of what he was talking about. Again, just trying to create divisions in our country and using the Army as props. Despicable. Play this clip.
They have to have common sense, and we've liberated our troops from divisive and demeaning political trainings. There will be no more critical race theory or transgender for everybody forced onto our brave men and women in uniform or on anybody else for that matter in this country. And we will not have men playing in women's sports, if that's okay. I mean, I wouldn't want to have to tackle, as an example, Bryson as a man. But I don't think a lot of women want to tackle him. I don't think so. How crazy is it? Men playing in women's sports, how crazy is it? So ridiculous, so demeaning to women. And it's over. That's over. We've ended it.
It got even more despicable from there. He started to attack former President Obama and was lying and saying that we used to have hypersonic weapons, and then former President Obama gave it to the Russians. Again, Donald Trump is the ultimate in projection and confession, but as Donald Trump this past week capitulated to Russia, utterly embarrassing. As Donald Trump basically did no sanctions against Putin and Trump gave up on negotiations between Russia and Ukraine, Donald Trump is speaking before the United States Army, attacking a former commander-in-chief and defaming him. This is the height of defamation. It is despicable. Play this clip.
Hypersonic Rocket. Oh, we can use you. Building them right now. You know, we had ours stolen. We are the designer of it. We had it stolen during the Obama administration. They stole it. You know who stole it? The Russians stole it. Something bad happened. But we're the designer of it. We're now building them, lots of them. And earlier this year, they launched it into space, setting a world record for amateur rocketry. Can't get you in there fast enough. This last excelled not only...
Then Donald Trump speaks to the United States Army grads, the West Point grads, about how he took a trip to Qatar where he got an airplane for $400 million, which he thinks is good for America, even though it's a gift for himself and a violation of the law, in my opinion. But then he says that Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates say the United States of America is hot. They say we're hot. We're so hot. So he wanted the United States military, he wanted our army and the grads at West Point to know that Qatar, UAE, and Saudi Arabia thinks that we are hot. Play this clip.
Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, and I will tell you, they said, all three leaders, great leaders of those three nations, they all said the same thing. The United States of America is hotter now than we've ever seen it, and a year ago it was as cold as it gets, and it's true. It's true. We have the hottest country in the world, and the whole world is talking about it. It's an honor for all of us. I cannot wait to see the glory that is still ahead. However, for the West Point class of 2025, we're going to help you a lot because we're going to give you a nation as good or better than it ever was. That's what I promise you.
We are hot. What the hell in the world is he talking about? Then he goes on to talk about how that because of him, there will now be an end to ideological experiments from within. And he seems to attack the United States of America for doing ideological experiments. Here, play this clip.
You see that, you see what's happening, you see what's going on in the world. Each of you is entering the officer corps at a defining moment in the Army's history. For at least 2 decades, political leaders from both parties have dragged our military into missions it was never meant to be. It wasn't meant to be. People would say, why are we doing this? Why are we wasting our time, money, and souls in some cases? They sent our warriors on nation-building crusades to nations that wanted nothing to do with us, led by leaders that didn't have a clue in distant lands, while abusing our soldiers with absurd ideological experiments here and at home. All of that's ended, you know. All of it's ended strongly. They're not even allowed to think about it anymore.
And by the way, I'm sure that Russia and China is clipping all of this, and they're showing their military, and they are laughing and mocking the United States of America. They're laughing in our faces about how utterly pathetic this is right here. Then Donald Trump talks about how he uses the military in how he sends the military to the border, and how he's using the United States troops for mass deportations, how he's sending the troops against people within the United States and sending them to the border. Here's what he talks about here.
To protect our own borders from invasion. Our country was invaded for the last 4 years, and they've allowed people to come into our country that shouldn't be here. Criminals walk in, no vetting, no checking, no nothing. Where are they coming from? And they were taking people out of prisons, they were taking gang members, they were taking the mentally insane and allowing them to come in, and we're getting them out of our country. We have no choice. We're getting them out and bringing them back where they came from. Have no choice. And it's not easy. It's not easy. But hopefully the courts will allow us to continue. You know, we had the greatest election victory. This was November 5th. We won the popular vote by millions of votes. We won all 7 swing states. We won everything. We won 2,750 districts against 505. 2,750 against 505. We had a great mandate, and it gives us the right to do what we want to do to make our country great again, and that's what we're going to do. And on day one, I deployed our military to the southern border, and since that day, we've reduced the number of illegal border crossings, where there used to be hundreds of thousands of people coming into our country a day. We had nobody come in the last week and a half. We were at 99.999%. 99.9.
And again, there's no acknowledgement from Donald Trump that 2 individuals died during that mission. He's never said their names once. Donald Trump has never mentioned the U.S. soldiers who have died in Lithuania. And also the Department of Defense has created a order where the United States military is not allowed to report on casualty figures in the Red Sea or in connection with the war that was taking place in Yemen, where the United States of America lost 3 F-18 Hornets, or 2 F-18 Hornets, and 7 Reaper drones that were lost in that. And then we entered into a ceasefire against the Houthis, and Donald Trump ended up praising the Houthis for their bravery and courage from the Oval Office, and said that they're very courageous and brave people. That's what he said about the terrorists called the Houthis. Then Donald Trump's final message to everybody was, and this is because he doesn't have vocabulary, he doesn't do words. So what Donald Trump just said was, I want to let you know we need a culture of winning. Winning only. There can be no losing. There must be winning. Here, play this clip.
Winning is a beautiful thing. Losing, not for us. Not for us. Not for everybody here. If it was, you wouldn't be here. From the earliest days of our...
Then Donald Trump attacks the concept of stealth. And he says that stealth makes no sense, and that he doesn't like the whole stealth thing, he says. Play this clip.
And I've approved a $1 trillion investment, and that will be, again, the largest ever in the history of our country. And we are buying you new airplanes, brand new, beautiful planes, redesigned planes, brand new planes, totally stealth planes. I hope they're stealth. I don't know. That whole stealth thing, I'm sort of wondering. You mean if we shape a wing this way, they don't see it, but the other way they see it? I'm not so sure. But that's what they tell me.
So I just want you to think about that he's standing there. He's telling the military that he doesn't like stealth, and he doesn't like the whole stealth thing right there. You saw that in that clip right there. Well, there you have it, folks. Let me know what you think about all of that. I mean, again, it's left me a bit speechless to watch that. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 5 million subscribers.
New Midas merch drop! Check out the latest pro-democracy sticker packs, t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, and more. All at store.MeidasTouch.com.